Hi, hello, and welcome. It's MBK, and welcome to my campfire. Now, this is a first of many on this channel where we have these little campfire discussions about different problems within the gaming community, or different, genres of games, and some things we're seeing with them. Like today's episode is about solo MMORPGers. Like, if it's an MMO, why are people playing solo? And a lot of people have those questions because as the MMO genre has grown and become more, we've seen these games rely on these solo players a lot more. We've seen, whole content added just for solo players, like for instance in lostark. We have whole solo raids now that we didn't when the game first launched over here in the West. Or we have elderscrollsonline completely being saved by the solo players. And we have to ask ourselves why, as of 2025, this video is being made on May 26th, why in 2025 are we getting all these solo players in MMORPGs? Like, what has happened that has led to this huge growth of solo players, and why are companies now willing to make an MMORPG more friendly to solo players than in the past? And I was just, thinking about this, and I had a lot of concepts in my head floating around. And I realized that when our MMORPGs first started coming out, like the very big ones, WoW, WoW is the biggest, of course. It was really the one that really captured the spotlight and made the MMORPG genre what it is today, with the high fantasy, with the roles, the Holy Trinity. And if you look back on it, that game came out so long ago, and the actual golden age of WoW was such a long time ago. Now, if you think about it, most of the players who love MMORPGs, most of the players who have been here since the very beginning, not me, but the people who have been here since WoW originally launched, those people are now grown. They have families, they have, 9 to 5, they have jobs, they have tons of things that they need to do. And that comes to my first point, which is time. Not everyone has a lot of time to play MMORPGs. You can go play Black Desert Online and treat it like a second life, but can everyone do that? No. Can everyone, raid every week and have a designated hour that they raid every day, maybe? No. And I think that's the first big pillar why solo MMORPGers are coming so fast, is because a lot of the people who grew up with this genre is now getting to a point in their lives where they have to slow down, they have to play less. And that's where solo players are coming from. Of course, also, the new generation, which is myself, we might like RPGs, we might like the theme of an RPG, but we're not willing to play in a group that often, or if we are, it's only with our friends that we trust and we communicate with. And that really comes with a new generation of gamers, of people, of ideologies. But the concept of time is really something that I think we can all understand. I know many people, go to work at 9, come home at 5. They have to, they have to do chores, they have to do errands, they have to do whatever they need to. And by the time they sit down at home at night, with their computer, with their console, how would they raid? Unless they just absolutely wanted to. If they're too tired to raid, what is there left for MMORPG enjoyer to do after long days of work? And that's why these companies, these game companies, these game studios are pushing these solo types of content, be it solo raids in lostark, or ESO, really catering to solo players, allowing you to have that Elder Scrolls experience in a huge open world sandbox that they have created. And I think one of the most beautiful things about the genre now is that it allows so many different people to play the genre itself. And I think that's a good sign of a good evolution happening within the MMO community. And I know certain, hardcore raiders, or just the hardcore players who play all day every day, or have the time to play all day every day, or if they're young and they play every day, I know those people dislike solo players, or they just don't understand it. But I want you to know, if you are one of those types of people, those solo players are saving your game. You might not like to hear it. You might think, oh no, they're not, they're not that big of a community. Trust me, there's so many solo players now that in most MMORPGs, that let's say you walking around the world, you'll stumble upon a person, and I'm almost gonna guarantee you they've never done group content maybe once or twice, and they're just really playing it like a normal story game, like a normal RPG game, and that's not a bad thing. If they're buying cosmetics, or they're buying expansions, if they're helping them game grow, if they're keeping the player base numbers up, that's all good things. Yeah, I think there's a time and place for solo players, and there's a time and place for hardcore veterans who love raiding, who loves the hardest content in the game, who min-max everything. And I think that's what makes MMORPG so fun. And recently, we have gotten the first dev interview #1 from Chrono Odyssey, a brand new South Korean MMO that is set to have a closed beta test next month, and who knows next month, but very soon. And we're seeing how the new world style of crafting and being able to get to end game and being able to just have fun crafting and just not fighting is becoming popular slowly over time. There's a lot of games that a lot of MMOs are promising, like, hey, you can be a crafter, you can be a blacksmith and reach end game, and Chrono Odyssey is one of these games that is like, hey, you can go cut down trees and you'll level up. Hey, you can make gear and it'll give you so much XP to level you up. And I think this is the perfect example of the solo mentality really becoming a main focus point in the MMORPG community. And if you think about it, let's say you come home after a long day. You don't have time to raid, even though you want to. You have time to raid, or your mind just fuzzled for the day. We've all had those moments. Let's just say you want to just sit down, listen to music, talk with your friends, and just cut down trees. And as you're cutting down trees, you're leveling up. And it's something that old school RuneScape got really right, and it's one of the reasons why people love that game, is because there's so much to do in that game and so many different life skills to level up that you always have a purpose, and no matter how tired or how refreshed you are, there's always something to do. And that's very important for the upcoming MMORPGs. I think Chrono Odyssey, we haven't seen it just so far, mind you. We've only seen some gameplay in the dev interview. But if they can allow players to either kill mobs, get XP, or just pick up plants, chop down trees, smash rocks, and level up and craft things for other players, that is exactly what we need in the gaming space right now, and it is furthering the MMO genre by a lot. And I think the second part is about the solo fantasy, the solo MMORPG experience, is that these people are playing an RPG but with other people. Even if they're not communicating, the world feels alive. Like, we've all had those experiences where, let's say you're starting an MMORPG for the first time and you're kind of late to the party. Let's say it's been out for a couple of years or whatever, and you're just walking down a random path in a random part of the map, and you're doing quest lines, you're leveling up via the main quest, and all of a sudden you see people fighting off in the distance, or you see like this cool looking character that has badass armor and it's just dripped out fully in-game characters. That is the solo experience, the fantasy of being able to be in this living, breathing world, even if you're not taking part of it. Because some people are loners. Some people either want to play in a raid and they will. Some people like to see other people and be a part of that world and be a part of that community, which they will do as well. And I think that is very important. Like, for instance, you play Elder Scrolls Online. I keep going back to it because recently a video made by Hack the Minotaur, which is he is an excellent content creator for Elder Scrolls Online. I will tag his video in the description. But he commented on how solo players saved Elder Scrolls Online, and I fully agree with him. As a person who's been playing ESO on and off for years, every time I come back to that game, more and more solo players are there crafting, they're like picking up things, they're just playing it like Skyrim or Oblivion or Morrowind. And that is good for the genre. I love being able to come back to ESO, get on my Dragon Knight, my Mag Dragon Knight, and just walk around and see people just doing things, see people doing quests, and they will help me do the quest because I'm doing it too, or doing world bosses, doing Oblivion chains, doing anything. Just the world itself feels alive. And that kind of fantasy is something that you can really only get within an MMORPG experience, because you can be like, oh, why don't they just go play, Oblivion Remastered, or why don't they go play Persona 5, why don't they go play, I don't know, Expedition 33? And they could, and they probably do if they're solo players. But there's something about seeing other players doing things and just being a part of this living community, this living and breathing community that people just love. And that's why the genre of MMORPG has evolved with the players. And I'm so thankful for these newer MMORPGs coming out. Mind you, they could be pay to win, they could be trash, but at least they're trying things differently. They're pushing the envelope and really bringing us back to eventually what I believe to be a golden age of MMORPGs. Imagine a perfect MMORPG in your head. Just imagine it. Imagine the most hardcore raiders being able to do these awesome dungeons with these awesome mechs and everything else. But then you have like the crafters, the gatherers, who are just like out in the open world, you know, just loving life, having a blast, cutting down trees, making things for higher up players, and then selling them on the market. That is a perfect ideology of a living world, and a living world I want to be a part of. Now, mind you, I talk about Chrono Odyssey because it's just fresh on my mind. But I hope a game like that comes out soon. Now, who knows if it will be Chrono Odyssey? It might be. Who knows? And I'm being pretty optimistic about it, even though it's a Korean game. But imagine a world where we eventually get that MMORPG that is just good. It's just everyone can play, solo players enjoy it, hardcore players enjoy it, everyone in between enjoys it. And I personally am someone that's in the in-between. I am the person that I will set up a raid date for once or twice a night, and I'll do the raid with my friends and like my guild. But at the same time, the rest of the week, I'm just doing dailies, hopping on just to do them, and then just, you know, if the game has crafting, I'm crafting. If, you know, I'm just vibing. I'm just not doing much, maybe talking in world chat. But that's the experience. It's a social game. And MMORPGs are massively multiplayer for a reason, and we should accept everyone to grow the genre, because at this rate, I think it will become something really beautiful in the future if we can just keep this momentum going and allow both solo players and hardcore veterans to play at the same time. And I do want to hear your thoughts about this. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you dislike solo players? Or are you a solo player? Tell me why. If you are a solo player, why do you specifically play? Is it because of the things I mentioned? Or is it because of some other reason, some bigger reason? I just really want to know your guys' opinions on this. And please, you know, I love to do these campfire talks. I love doing these for people. I'm going to continue to do these. Like I said, this is my first campfire talk here here on my channel. But if you do want this type of content, you like this form factor, please like, subscribe, and comment to let me know what you want to see, what you want me to talk about, and just allow me to help give you guys news or bring you guys ideas that you've never heard before. But I do thank you. Please enjoy your day, and remember, life is a journey, so just keep taking it slow. Peace out.